A stick of gum can actually change how your brain works. The science is weirder than you think. Chewing gum is the kind of habit nobody takes seriously. It is a vending machine snack, something you do out of boredom. But when researchers put people in brain scanners and told them to chew, something strange showed up. Blood flow to the brain jumped by 25 to 40% in key regions. Reaction times got faster. Short-term memory scores climbed. Stress hormones dropped. A 5-cent piece of sugar-free gum was measurably tuning up the human brain. It is not a miracle, and it is not a study hack. But the mechanism is real, it is well documented, and it explains why surgeons, soldiers, and astronauts all quietly rely on it. Here is what chewing actually does to your focus, and where the limits are. Start with the plumbing. Your brain uses about 20% of all the oxygen and glucose your body burns, even though it weighs only about 3 pounds. To stay sharp, it needs a steady, high-volume blood supply. Chewing is one of the most direct ways to boost that supply on demand. When you chew, the muscles in your jaw contract rhythmically, and that pumps blood through the arteries that feed the head and brain. Ultrasound studies have measured increases of 25 to 40% in cerebral blood flow during active chewing. That extra flow delivers more oxygen and glucose to the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, the exact regions you use for focus, decision-making, and short-term memory. In a very literal sense, chewing wakes your brain up by feeding it more fuel. Blood flow is only half the story. Chewing also triggers what scientists call a mild arousal response. Functional MRI scans show that rhythmic chewing activates the sensorimotor cortex, the insula, and parts of the hippocampus. It also nudges heart rate up slightly, raises skin conductance, and increases activity in the reticular activating system, the part of the brainstem that controls alertness. At the same time, studies at Northumbria University and Cardiff University found that chewing lowers cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, by around 16 to 18% during stressful tasks. So you end up in a rare combination, more alert, but less stressed. That is almost exactly the state high performers want when they need to concentrate under pressure. The behavioral studies back it up. In a 2011 trial at St. Lawrence University, students who chewed gum for 5 minutes before a cognitive test scored significantly higher on memory and attention tasks than those who did not, though the effect faded after about 20 minutes. A Japanese study using reaction time tests found chewing cut response time by 10% on average. The British Royal Navy studied it for watchkeepers on long shifts. NASA has looked at it for astronauts fighting monotony in orbit. Surgeons have reported fewer errors in long operations when they chew between stages. None of this makes gum a performance drug. The effect is short, maybe 15 to 20 minutes per session, and it is strongest when you start chewing just before the task, not during it. But for a short, demanding window, the boost is real and measurable. Now for the honest part. Chewing gum is not a substitute for sleep, caffeine, or actual study time. The gains in test scores are modest, usually a few percentage points, not life-changing. Chewing during the task itself can even hurt performance on anything involving complex language or heavy working memory, because your brain is splitting resources. The sweet spot is pre-task chewing, then stopping. There are also small downsides. Sugar gum damages teeth. Too much sorbitol from sugar-free gum can upset your stomach. Constant chewing can stress the jaw joint. So the actual advice that matches the science is simple. If you need a sharp 15-minute window, chew a piece of sugar-free gum just before you start. Your blood flow rises, your stress drops, your reaction time improves, and then you let it fade. That is not a hack. That is just biology doing exactly what it evolved to do. If this changed how you see a stick of gum, subscribe to Curious Science. Next up, we break down why earthquakes happen and how tectonic plates build up pressure for decades before they snap.